I woke up at 2 a.m. to find someone in my bed. I woke up at 2:00 a.m. to find someone in my bed, not beside it. In it, curled on their side, breathing softly, their hair spilled across my pillow like they'd been there for hours. My heart stopped because the person lying there, peaceful and vulnerable in the dim glow of my desk lamp I'd forgotten to turn off, was Maya Chen, my best friend since freshman year of college. The girl I'd been quietly, desperately in love with for the past 3 years. And I had absolutely no idea how she'd gotten into my apartment, why she was here, or what I was supposed to do now that every instinct in my body was screaming at me to both wake her up and let her sleep forever. Let me back up, way back. Because to understand why finding Maya in my bed felt like the ground had shifted beneath me, you need to know how we got here. You need to know about the 3 years of friendship, the 1,000 tiny moments that built up to this one impossible night, and all the feelings I'd been burying so deep I'd almost convinced myself I could live with them forever. My name is Jordan Hayes. I'm 21 years old and I've been in love with my best friend for longer than I've been willing to admit, even to myself. I met Maya Chen during orientation week at UC Berkeley. I was 18, overwhelmed, standing in line at the campus bookstore trying to figure out which version of the biology textbook I actually needed when someone behind me laughed. "The essential edition is a scam," a voice said. "It's literally the same as the regular one but costs $40 more." I turned around. She was shorter than me with straight black hair pulled into a messy bun, wearing an oversized Berkeley hoodie and ripped jeans. Her eyes were bright with amusement, and she had this energy about her that made you want to lean in closer. "How do you know?" I asked. "My roommate's a sophomore. She warned me about all the textbook traps," she grinned. "I'm Maya, by the way, undeclared major, professional overthinker, and apparently your guardian angel against publishing company scams." Jordan, biology major, definitely an overthinker and grateful for the intervention. Biology brave, I can barely keep a succulent alive. We ended up getting coffee after the bookstore, talking for 3 hours straight about everything from our intended majors to our favorite childhood movies to our fears about college. By the time we finally said goodbye, I had her number in my phone and plans to meet up for dinner the next day. That was Maya. She had this way of making you feel like you'd known her forever within minutes of meeting her. She was warm, funny, fiercely intelligent, and had absolutely no filter when it came to her opinions. She'd argue passionately about anything from environmental policy to the correct way to make ramen, and she had this laugh, this full, unrestrained laugh that made everyone around her smile. We became inseparable almost immediately. We studied together, ate meals together, joined the same clubs. By the end of freshman year, we declared ourselves platonic soulmates, the kind of friends who could communicate with just a look across a crowded room. I didn't realize I was falling in love with her until sophomore year. It was October, midterm season, and we were both stressed and exhausted. Maya had been up for nearly 48 hours straight finishing a paper, and I'd forced her to take a break and come to my dorm room. She'd collapsed onto my bed face first, groaning about her incompetent group project partners, and I'd sat beside her, running my fingers through her hair without thinking. She'd gone quiet, and when I looked down, her eyes were closed, her face peaceful. "That feels nice," she'd murmured, "don't stop." And something in my chest had cracked open. The tenderness I felt in that moment was so overwhelming, so consuming, that I couldn't pretend it was just friendship anymore. I was in love with her, completely, hopelessly, terrifyingly in love with her. The problem was Maya was straight, or at least she'd always dated guys. I'd heard her talk about her high school boyfriend, seen her swipe through dating apps looking at men, and I wasn't even sure what I was. I'd known I liked girls since high school. I'd had a brief relationship with a girl named Taylor junior year, all secret kisses and hand-holding in empty hallways. But I'd also dated guys, had genuine feelings for them. I was bisexual, I eventually figured out, though it took me until college to actually use that word for myself. But none of that mattered because Maya was straight, and telling her how I felt would only ruin the best friendship I'd ever had. So I didn't tell her, I buried it, pushed it down, and focused on being the best friend I could be. I dated other people, a girl named Sam from my chemistry lab, a guy named Tyler I met at a party. Nothing serious, nothing that lasted, because no matter who I was with, part of my heart was always somewhere else. Maya, oblivious to my internal turmoil, continued being herself. She'd show up at my apartment at random hours with takeout and conspiracy theories about our professors. She'd drag me to protests and poetry readings and midnight trips to the Berkeley Pier. She'd fall asleep during our study sessions with her head on my shoulder, and I'd sit there barely breathing, memorizing the weight of her against me. Junior year, Maya got a serious boyfriend. His name was Derek, a senior studying computer science. He was nice enough, smart, polite, clearly crazy about her. I should have been happy for her. Instead, I felt like I was slowly drowning. "What do you think?" Maya asked me one night, showing me a photo Derek had posted of them together. "We're cute, right?" "Very cute," I managed, and it wasn't even a lie. They were cute together. She looked happy. That should have been enough. "I think I'm falling for him," she admitted quietly. "Is that crazy? We've only been dating for 2 months." "It's not crazy," I said, even as my heart was shattering. "If it feels right, it feels right." She smiled, squeezing my hand. "Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you, Jordan. You're my person, you know that." "Yeah," I whispered, "you're mine too." I started seeing a therapist that semester. Dr. Monica Park, a woman in her 40s who specialized in LGBTQ+ issues. I needed somewhere to process everything I was feeling without fear of judgment or exposure. "It sounds like you're grieving," she said during one of our sessions, after I'd spent 45 minutes talking about watching Maya with Derek. "That seems dramatic," I said. "Nothing actually happened." Unrequited love is still love, and losing the possibility of something, even if it was never realistic, is still a loss. I left that session feeling both validated and more hopeless than ever. Maya and Derek broke up in March of junior year. She showed up at my apartment at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, mascara streaked down her face and collapsed into my arms. "It's over," she sobbed into my shoulder. "We're done." I held her while she cried, stroking her hair, murmuring comforting words, and hatting myself for the tiny, terrible spark of hope that ignited in my chest. "What happened?" I asked when she'd calmed down enough to talk. "He wanted more than I could give," she said quietly. "He said he was in love with me, and I realized I wasn't in love with him. I cared about him, but it wasn't what it should be. I'm sorry." She pulled back, wiping her eyes. "The worst part is I don't even know what I'm looking for. I thought Derek was perfect on paper, but something was missing, something fundamental." She stayed over that night, curled up in my bed while I took the couch. And I lay there awake, wondering what that missing piece was, wondering if I was reading too much into everything. Senior year started and Maya seemed different, more introspective, more uncertain. She stopped dating entirely, turned down guys who asked her out, spent more time alone or with just me. "I think I'm having an identity crisis," she told me one night in September. We were sitting on the roof of my apartment building looking out at the city lights. "What kind of identity crisis?" She was quiet for a long moment. "I've been thinking a lot about myself, about what I want, who I am, and I'm realizing I don't know the answers to basic questions I thought I had figured out." "Like what?" "Like what I'm attracted to, who I'm attracted to." She glanced at me, then away quickly. "Does that make sense?" My heart was pounding. "Yeah, that makes sense. Are you questioning your sexuality?" "Maybe, I don't know," she laughed nervously. "God, I sound like such a cliché. The girl who dates guys all through high school and college and then suddenly realizes maybe she's not as straight as she thought." Yeah. "There's no timeline for figuring yourself out," I said carefully, "and there's nothing cliched about it, it's your journey." "Have you ever," she trailed off, then started again, "you're bisexual, right? How did you know?" We'd never actually talked about this in depth before. She knew I dated both guys and girls, but we'd never discussed the details. "I just felt it," I said. "I was attracted to people regardless of their gender. It took me a while to accept it, to put a name to it, but once I did, it felt right." She nodded slowly, processing. "What if I've been lying to myself for years? What if I've been so focused on what I was supposed to want that I never questioned if it was actually what I wanted?" "Then you figure it out now, there's no shame in that." "I'm scared," she whispered. I took her hand, squeezing it gently. "I know, but whatever you discover about yourself, it doesn't change who you are. You're still Maya, and I'm still here." She looked at me, then really looked at me, and something in her expression made my breath catch. "Thank you, Jordan, for always being here, for understanding." "Always," I said, and meant it with every fiber of my being. Things shifted after that conversation. Maya started asking me more questions about my experiences, about being bisexual, about coming out, about navigating attraction to different genders. I answered as honestly as I could, even when every conversation felt like walking through a minefield, terrified I'd reveal too much about my own feelings. October came. Maya went to her first Pride event, dragging me along. We marched through downtown Berkeley, surrounded by thousands of people celebrating, and I watched her take it all in with wonder in her eyes. "This feels right," she said, barely audible over the music and chanting. "Being here, being part of this." "Yes." "Yeah," she turned to me, her eyes bright. "I think I'm queer, Jordan. I don't know what specific label fits yet, but I know I'm not straight, I know that much." I pulled her into a hug and she clung to me. "I'm proud of you," I said into her hair. "I couldn't have done this without you." November brought new complications. Maya started going to LGBTQ plus group meetings on campus, making new friends in the community. She seemed lighter, happier, more herself than I'd ever seen her. But she also started mentioning a girl named Kieran from her queer literature class. "She's so cool," Maya gushed one night while we were studying. "She's a poet and she has this way of seeing the world that's just different, beautiful." My stomach twisted. "That's great. We're getting coffee tomorrow just as friends, but," she bit her lip, "I don't know, there might be something there." "You should go for it," I said, because what else could I say? I'd spent 3 years hiding my feelings. I didn't get to be jealous now. She did go for it. She and Kieran started dating in December, and I had to watch from the sidelines as Maya experienced her first relationship with a woman. She'd come to me with questions, with excitement, with nervousness, and I'd support her through all of it while dying inside. "Is this what it's supposed to feel like?" she asked me one night after a date with Kieran, "like everything just clicks into place?" "If it's right, yeah," I said, "that's what it should feel like." But they broke up after 6 weeks. Kieran was transferring schools at the end of the semester, and neither of them wanted to do long distance. Maya was sad but not devastated, which told me everything I needed to know about how deep her feelings had actually gone. "I think I was more in love with the idea of being with a woman than I was with her specifically," Maya admitted to me. "Does that make me a terrible person?" "No, it makes you human. You were figuring things out." "I feel like I'm always figuring things out," she said, frustrated. "When do I get to just know?" January of senior year, second semester, our last few months before graduation and the real world. Maya and I had both been accepted to graduate programs, me to UCSF for biology, her to NYU for journalism. We'd be on opposite coasts soon, and neither of us wanted to acknowledge what that meant. "Promise we'll stay friends," Maya said one night. We were lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling, contemplating our futures. "Of course we will." "No, I mean really promise, not the kind of promise where we drift apart and only talk on birthdays. I need you in my life, Jordan. I don't know how to do life without you." I turned my head to look at her. "I promise, nothing's going to change that." "Good," she reached over, lacing her fingers through mine. "Because you're my favorite person in the entire world." My heart was breaking and soaring simultaneously. "You're mine too." We fell asleep like that, hands clasped between us, and when I woke up in the morning, she was already gone. February brought our last semester of classes, senior thesis deadlines, and a growing sense of finality to everything. Maya and I spent almost every day together, studying, procrastinating, making memory after memory that I knew I'd replay for the rest of my life. "What are you going to miss most about Berkeley?" she asked me one afternoon. We were at our favorite coffee shop, textbooks spread across the table. "This," I said honestly, "us, this version of us." "What do you mean, this version?" "I mean, things are going to be different after graduation. You'll be in New York, I'll be in San Francisco. We'll both have new lives, new friends, we'll grow and change. This," I gestured between us, "will never be exactly like this again." She was quiet for a long moment. "That scares me." "Me too." "Jordan," she reached across the table, taking my hand, "can I tell you something?" "Always." She opened her mouth, then closed it, shook her head. "Never mind, it's nothing." "Maya." "It's nothing," she insisted, pulling her hand back. I don't want things to change between us, that's all." But something had changed. I could feel it in the way she looked at me sometimes, in the way she'd find excuses to touch me, brushing hair behind my ear, straightening my collar, holding my hand just a little too long. Or maybe I was imagining it, projecting my own feelings onto innocent gestures. March, 1 month until graduation. Maya had been acting strange all week, distant, preoccupied, avoiding my eyes when we talked. I finally confronted her about it one evening when she canceled our dinner plans for the third time. "What's going on with you?" I asked over the phone. "Are you mad at me?" "No, God, no, I'm not mad." "Then what is it? Because you've been weird all week." Silence on the other end. Then, "Can I come over? I need to talk to you about something." My stomach dropped, of course. She showed up 20 minutes later looking nervous in a way I'd never seen her. We sat on my couch and I waited while she seemed to gather her courage. "I've been trying to figure out how to say this," she started. "I've been thinking about it for months actually, maybe longer, I don't even know anymore." "Say what?" She took a deep breath. "I think I'm in love with you." The world stopped. I stared at her, certain I'd misheard. "What?" "I'm in love with you, Jordan. I have been for, I don't even know how long, maybe since sophomore year, maybe since we met. I've been trying to figure it out, trying to understand what I was feeling, and I kept dating other people thinking that would make it go away, but it never did. It never does." I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. "Maya." "I know this is terrible timing," she continued, words spilling out now. "I know we're both leaving in a few months, and I know I probably should have said something sooner, but I was scared. I'm still scared. But I can't graduate without telling you because the thought of moving to New York and never knowing what we could have been is worse than the thought of you not feeling the same way." "Stop," I managed. "Stop talking for a second." She stopped, looking at me with those wide, terrified eyes. "You're in love with me?" I asked, needing to hear it again. "Yes." "For how long?" "I don't know exactly. I think part of me has always known, but I was too scared to look at it directly. Too scared to admit that my best friend was also the person I couldn't stop thinking about. The person I compared everyone else to. The person who made me feel more myself than anyone else ever has. I laughed and it came out half sob. "You're serious?" "Completely serious, Jordan." I kissed her, pulled her toward me and kissed her, pouring 3 years of longing and love and desperate hope into it. She made a small sound of surprise, then kissed me back, her hands coming up to cup my face. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, I said, "I've been in love with you since sophomore year." Her eyes went wide. "What?" "Since that night you fell asleep in my room during midterms and I played with your hair, that's when I knew, and I've been hiding it ever since because I thought you were straight and I didn't want to lose you." "Jordan," she was crying now, laughing and crying at the same time. "We're idiots." "Complete idiots," I agreed, pulling her back in for another kiss. We spent the rest of the night talking, really talking about everything. All the moments we'd missed, all the times we'd almost said something but didn't, all the feelings we'd been hiding from each other. "What about New York?" she asked eventually. We were lying on my bed now, wrapped around each other. "What about San Francisco?" "I don't know," I admitted, "but we'll figure it out. We've got 4 months to make a plan." "4 months," she repeated quietly. "That's not very long." "Then we'll make it count." And we did. April and May were a blur of final projects and graduation preparation and stolen moments together. We didn't tell many people we were dating, wanting to keep this new thing between us private while we figured out what it meant. But everyone who knew us could see something had shifted. We graduated on a Saturday in mid-May, throwing our caps in the air with hundreds of our classmates, the California sun bright overhead. My mom was there, beaming with pride. Maya's parents had flown in from Seattle. After the ceremony, my mom pulled me aside. "So," she said, a knowing smile on her face, "you and Maya." I blushed. "How did you?" "Jordan, honey, I've known you were in love with that girl since I met her freshman year. I'm just glad you finally figured it out." We spent the summer in Berkeley, neither of us ready to leave yet. We found a sublet apartment together, worked part-time jobs, and pretended that August wasn't rapidly approaching. "What if we do long distance?" Maya suggested one night in July. We were lying on a blanket in the park, watching the stars. "You hate long distance, you said so after Kieran." "That was different, this is you." I turned to look at her. "It's going to be so hard." "I know, but you're worth hard, we're worth hard." "What if we grow apart?" What if we don't? She propped herself up on one elbow. Jordan, I didn't wait 3 years to finally have you just to give up because of distance. We'll make it work. Video calls, visits when we can afford it, constant texting, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, I repeated and kissed her. August came anyway. Maya's flight to New York was scheduled for the 15th, mine to San Francisco for the 18th. We spent our last days together frantically, making every moment count. The night before she left, neither of us could sleep. We lay in bed holding each other, trying not to think about tomorrow. Promise me something, Maya whispered. Anything. Promise me that no matter what happens, we'll always be honest with each other. About how we're feeling, if the distance is too hard, if we need more or less or something different. Promise we won't just drift apart in silence. I promise. She kissed me slow and deep. I love you, Jordan Hayes. I love you too, Maya Chen. I took her to the airport the next morning. We held each other at security, neither wanting to let go. It's not forever, she said against my shoulder. It's just for now. Just for now, I agreed. She pulled back, wiping her eyes. I'll text you when I land. You better. One more kiss, then she was walking away, turning back every few steps to wave until she finally disappeared through security. I drove back to our sublet, which suddenly felt enormous and empty without her. Her flight was 6 hours. I cleaned obsessively, trying not to watch the clock, trying not to imagine the life she was flying toward without me. My phone buzzed at 7 p.m. Landed. My roommate seems cool. The apartment is tiny but has character. I miss you already. Miss you too. Send pictures when you're settled. Will do. I love you. Love you more. 3 days later, I moved to San Francisco and started my program at UCSF. The adjustment was brutal. New city, new school, new responsibilities, and without Maya beside me, everything felt slightly wrong, like a puzzle with a crucial piece missing. We video called every night for the first 2 weeks, then every other night, then a few times a week, coordinating around our insane schedules. We texted constantly, sent each other photos and memes and voice messages when we couldn't talk in real time. How's your thesis research going? She'd ask. Exhausting. How's the journalism program? Intense but good. I'm learning so much. We kept finding ways to include each other in our new lives, even from 3,000 miles apart. October brought my first crisis. I was overwhelmed, exhausted, questioning whether I'd made the right choice with graduate school. I called Maya at 2 a.m. her time, sobbing. Hey, breathe, she said, her voice thick with sleep but immediately alert. Talk to me, what's wrong? I can't do this, it's too hard, I don't belong here. Yes, you do, you're brilliant, Jordan, you earned your place there. I miss you, I whispered. I miss you so much it hurts. I miss you too, every single day, but we're going to get through this, we're going to make it. How do you know? Because I love you and you love me, and that's enough. It has to be enough. November came, and with it, Thanksgiving break. We'd both managed to get the same days off and decided to meet in the middle, literally. We booked a cheap hotel in Kansas City, somewhere neither of us had ever been, just to see each other. I landed first, waited in the airport, nervous energy thrumming through me. Then I saw her, rolling her suitcase toward me, and everything else fell away. Jordan, she dropped her suitcase and ran the last few feet, throwing herself into my arms. I caught her, holding her so tight I was probably hurting her. God, I missed you. I missed you too, so much. We spent 4 days together in Kansas City, explored the city, ate at random restaurants, and spent most of our time in the hotel room just being together, talking, kissing, making up for lost time. This is enough, Maya said on our last night, her head on my chest, my fingers in her hair. This right here, knowing you're mine and I'm yours, it's enough to get through the hard parts. Yeah, I agreed, it is. The goodbye at the airport was devastating, both of us crying, clinging to each other, drawing out every last second. Spring break, Maya asked. Spring break, I confirmed. Your place or mine? Yours. I want to see San Francisco. It's a date. December was finals season for both of us. We barely talked, both drowning in work. I sent her care packages, her favorite snacks, a photo of us from Berkeley, a handwritten letter because I knew she loved physical mail. She sent me one too. I opened it alone in my apartment on a particularly hard day and found a mix of little gifts. A postcard from NYU, a pressed flower from Central Park, a USB drive with a video message, and a letter that made me cry. Jordan asterisk. I know we're both drowning right now, but I needed you to know you're doing amazing. I'm so proud of you. Graduate school is hard, being apart is harder, but you're handling it with such grace and strength. Never forget that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're meant to do. I love you. I'm counting down the days until spring break when I get to hold you again. Until then, know that you're in my thoughts constantly. You're my person, Jordan. You always have been. Distance doesn't change that. All my love asterisk. Meyer asterisk. I played the video message. It was 15 minutes of her just talking to me, telling me about her day, her classes, the cute dog she'd seen in the park, how much she loved and missed me. I must have watched it 20 times that week. Christmas came, we both went home to our respective families but video called on Christmas morning, opening gifts together through our screens. I got you something, Maya said, holding up a small wrapped box. I got you something too. I grabbed my own carefully wrapped package. On three. We counted down, then opened them simultaneously. Inside mine was a delicate silver necklace with a small compass pendant. So you can always find your way home, Maya said softly, and home is wherever I am. I was crying as I held up my gift to her, a matching necklace with a star pendant. So you can always remember someone's looking up at the same stars thinking of you. God, we're so sappy, Maya laughed, wiping her eyes. The sappiest. I love it, I love you. I love you too. Spring break finally arrived in March. Maya flew to San Francisco and I picked her up at the airport. Almost unable to believe she was really here, really standing in front of me. Hi, she said, grinning. Hi yourself. I took her all over the city that week, showed her my campus, my favorite study spots, the little coffee shop I'd claimed as ours even though she'd never been there. She met my friends from grad school, fit seamlessly into my San Francisco life, and for one perfect week everything felt right again. I could see myself here, she said one night as we walked along the pier, the Golden Gate Bridge lit up in the distance. Yes. Yeah, after I finish my program, maybe I could find work out here. There are journalism jobs in San Francisco. My heart leapt. You do that. I'd do anything to be with you, she said simply. New York is great, but it's not where you are, and where you are is where I want to be. That's a year and a half away. I know, but it's a plan, it's something to work toward. What if you end up loving New York too much to leave? She stopped walking, turning to face me. Jordan, I could live in the most amazing city in the world, have the best job imaginable, and none of it would mean anything if you weren't there to share it with me. You're my home, not a place. I kissed her there on the pier, tourists walking past us, the sound of waves and seagulls filling the air. Come to New York this summer, she said when we broke apart. For a month if you can, I want you to see my life there, meet my friends, see my apartment, let me show you my favorite places. I'll be there, I promised. The rest of the year crawled by. We fell into a better rhythm with our long-distance relationship, making it work despite the challenges. Some weeks were harder than others, but we always came back to each other. I did go to New York that summer, spent 5 weeks there living Maya's life with her. She was right, the city was incredible and I could see why she loved it, but I also saw that she was telling the truth. She'd leave it all behind if it meant we could be together. What if we both applied for jobs in a city neither of us has lived in? I suggested one night. Someplace new for both of us, Chicago maybe, or Seattle near your parents. You do that, leave San Francisco. Maya, I'd follow you anywhere, and if we can find a place that works for both our careers, somewhere we can build a life together, then why not? She kissed me. I like the sound of that, building a life together. Me too. My second year of grad school, her second year of her program. We were both exhausted, both stressed, both desperately counting down to the end. But we had a plan now, something concrete to work toward. Video calls became our lifeline. We'd study together in silence, both doing our own work but connected. We'd fall asleep on call just wanting to feel like we were together. We sent more care packages, more letters, more little reminders that we were thinking of each other. I'm so tired, Maya admitted one night in February, of being apart, of missing you, of this being so hard. I know, me too. But I'm not giving up, she said fiercely. I'm not giving up on us. Neither am I, never. April brought job application season. We both applied for positions in Seattle, Chicago, and Portland, anywhere that might work for both of us. What if we don't both get jobs in the same city? Maya asked one night. Then we pick whoever gets the better offer and the other person keeps looking in that city. You do that. Maya, at this point I'd follow you to Antarctica if that's where you got a job. I'm done with long distance. I'm ready for real distance, like across the apartment distance. She laughed. That sounds perfect. May brought graduation finally. My parents flew out for my graduation from UCSF. Maya couldn't make it, her finals ran through that week, but she video called to watch the ceremony. I'm so proud of you, Dr. Hayes, she said, and I could see her eyes were wet. Not a doctor yet, I still have to do postdoc work. Shut up and let me be proud of you. 2 weeks later, I flew to New York for her graduation, watched her walk across that stage, throw her cap in the air, beam with pride and relief and joy. We did it, she said afterward, throwing her arms around me. We actually made it through. We did, I agreed. Now comes the fun part. June brought answers. Maya got a job offer from a digital media company in Portland. I got a postdoc position at Oregon Health and Science University. We'd both be in Portland by August. We celebrated that night in Maya's tiny New York apartment, drinking cheap wine and planning our future. Can you believe it, she kept saying, we're actually going to live in the same city again. We should get an apartment together, I said, if you want to, I mean, no pressure. Yes, God, yes, I thought you'd never ask. Really? Jordan, I've been dreaming about living with you since senior year of college. Of course, I want to get an apartment together. We spent July packing up our respective lives, saying goodbye to our cities, preparing for this new chapter. I flew to Portland first to find us an apartment. Maya trusted me to pick one, told me she'd love anything as long as it was ours. I found a 2-bedroom in a nice neighborhood, signed the lease and sent her photos. It's perfect, I love it, I love you. Love you too, see you in 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks felt longer than the previous 2 years combined. But finally, Maya's moving truck pulled up outside our new apartment and she was climbing out, looking tired and beautiful and real. Hey roommate, she said, grinning. Hey yourself. We stood there for a moment, just looking at each other. Then I closed the distance and kissed her, right there on the sidewalk in front of our apartment building, our new neighbors walking past with knowing smiles. Welcome home, I whispered against her lips. Home, she repeated. God, that sounds good. We moved her stuff in together, assembling furniture, arguing about where things should go, laughing at our own incompetence with power tools. By evening, the apartment was still a disaster, but it was